All right, we'll call this meeting to order. First thing, Cumberland County Regional Assessment GIS mapping proposal.
We got it. I think we just put it in the file with all the others and evaluate them.
Yeah.
I'm still having a hard time being confident with any of it, just because of the way the parcels are laid out incorrectly, so I don't understand how Cumberland County is gonna put an accurate overlay on. I mean, I guess it would transcend boundaries, because it's just land at that point, and you just have to figure out by deeds, I don't know. I think it's something Cumberland County has to figure out before
Well,
we accept something from them.
what we need to do is set up a meeting amongst us to review the various packets or proposals. And when we do that, we can talk about baseline data and what impact it will have on anybody's mapping. So I think
Pick up the top five and take a look. Pick up the top five and take a look.
Yeah, and I think we can do that. There's a number of things you can sort out on cost and response to the request. And then when we get the top 4 or 5, the ones we think that were somewhat responsive, then we can figure out how we want to go forward. If we want to call individuals in and talk to them, and whatever. But that's the last outstanding one there. And so I think we're ready to now start doing some review. So I guess the question will be, when do we want to get together to look at them? Some afternoon?
It's fine with me, yeah. Anytime.
Yeah, most afternoons are free for me. Somewhat reasonable amount of time. 3:30 or something.
Yeah, this coming Monday's good. Wednesday's okay next week. Thursday's okay. So any one of those in an afternoon get together, and we may not get it all sorted out in one meeting, but.
Right. I was just gonna say, maybe we ought to get started on it, maybe next Monday, because get started on it, and this might take a while.
Oh, yeah.
I have them printed off, got it so thick.
Good. Everybody has their own packet. So Monday at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it killed me, yeah.
Good, right here. And, get an email off to Don Sharp, invite him to attend as well, be part of the board.
Yeah.
So, start sorting through it.
Yeah. All right. Mandate survey from real estate property tax relief task force researchers.
Gave us a short amount of time to digest all that stuff that you sent us.
Well, I don't know, you don't have to go there, you know, they're asking us to tell them what we think is our 3 greatest mandates. So my first thought was, what's a mandate, right? And I think that they mandate much of anything. You know, we say, well, they mandate that we have a code enforcement officer. You know, but what I honed in on was those mandates which are tax related, and we've got several. Betty, business equipment tax exemption.
Mhm.
That's a state law. And so that mandate says we can only count, or collect taxes on half of the value of business equipment tax.
Mhm.
There's a homestead exemption. And then there's tree growth in, open, farmland and open space. But that's a very hard one to evaluate. At one time I looked at it and I couldn't tell if it was any cost to the town or not, quite honestly.
I'd looked at it as more of a modern approach, like the mandates that are sprung on us now, and we don't have data enough to assess what it's gonna cost us in the future. All the LDs are mandates, the new LDs, I mean, to me, that's a mandate. When they tell you to do something against what.
That is right. But I don't know that you could put a number on it.
Well, that's just it, I mean, that
Yeah.
would be just like this, you'd have to write a book explaining.
Write a computer program and
Right.
project out the future or something.
I don't think they're after that kind of information, I
No.
think they're.
But you might say if we were required to hire somebody to help, like a second code enforcement officer, to help respond to increased activity, that might be a mandate that you could put a number to.
Yeah.
All that data that I sent you was really, it's the, state evaluation of the town of Baldwin, and if you dig into it, there's all the data on tree growth, and Betty, and homestead exemptions, and all the other programs. I did a quick number crunch on the Betty. You can also get some of it off from our last, mill rate comp sheet. And up at the top there, they have a listing of how much Betty,
Mhm.
and then how much reimbursement we're gonna get from the state for it. And, based on that, it said, well, this is fairly old data, I guess it's a couple years old, but it said $2.6 million worth of Betty, we get reimbursed for 1.3 million of it, and the rest of it we eat, which looks to me like about $21,000. So it's revenue that we can't collect.
Mhm.
The bigger one is homestead exemption, which it said was like 8.6 million. And we eat 24% of the value of the homestead exemption, because the state reimburses us 76%. So that's about $33,000. So together, those two are $54,000. Might pay for our legal fees.
Yeah.
It's not as big as I thought it might be, but, I can dig into the rest of it, and we can maybe, if you want, let me see, was there a date on that?
What they said, April 18th,
This is
Maybe-
Monday the 13th.
Monday the 13th.
Deadline. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I saw the 8 as a 3 at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I do that all the time. 22 looks like 33.
Yeah, so right off, so. Yeah, I mean, I actually, I started the survey, and then I was like, I don't have time to, because then they wanted, like, what's it cost us, so that
Right.
became collaboration with
Yeah, you gotta figure out.
Debbie, and, it's just a lot of work.
You gotta know what the numbers are, yeah. So anyway, if we, to have some solid numbers, that's what I think are on the tax related ones, but if there's some other mandate that you think is gonna have an impact, like I said, if you, thought that we were gonna get a rush of growth that would require us to hire somebody to respond, and maybe you could put a number on it. out what a code enforcement officer costs us, and we could, or,
Yeah, they're not really looking for hypotheticals though, are they? They're just more or less looking for.
well, I don't know,
Most of it.
I mean, obviously, it's just a survey, and it's, you know, in all reality, without being Debbie Downer, it's not gonna.
We haven't hired
Not gonna
anybody,
do
so
us
that-
any good, so.
we haven't hired anybody yet, so we can't say that it's costing us money, but.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you come up with so far for generic,
Well,
I'll try to look into it for the 13th, if, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they just want, they don't need all three Baldwin selectmen to fill out the survey, because it'd be the same information, right?
I don't know. All right, so I've got those two numbers already, and, I looked at the tree growth farmland stuff, but the last time I looked at it, there was, you know, the impact of tax stuff is so, intertwined with various aspects of the tax code, it's really hard to say whether it hurts you or not, because, certain things that, will not count against us when they do the, minimus evaluation. And sometimes it counts when they're looking at school, you know, what we owe for our school share, other times it doesn't, so it's not just a straightforward number. And on the tree growth stuff, it looked to me, the last time I tried to look at it in any detail, it was about a wash. You know, and then of course, how do you value land, that's in tree growth? It varies.
It varies, yeah.
And, so, I'm sure it's worth pursuing, but.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't living to, you know, you put all this work into it, and it's not gonna make a bit of difference in tax relief, you know, it's information for them, for sure, but they're not gonna say, oh, well, now I gotta change, because Roland doesn't like it, you know.
We could say that all these, new laws on housing have come down the pike, and it's gonna cost us money, but they'll just say, well, there's money out there for you to do it. Right?
Yeah.
You know, they put restrictions on it. All right. I will, we'll see if I can answer the survey and just show it to you before I send it off. Send you an email what the numbers are.
Okay.
But they're pretty much gonna be what I've already run up. I'll show you the calculations for it, so you can see what that's based on.
All right. Johnson Control Security System meeting, next steps.
So they had sent an email back that I forwarded to you all that they wanted to have like a short wrap-up meeting before they went ahead with the proposal. I don't know that that's necessary or not, but.
If they send us a proposal, we could meet amongst ourselves, I mean, that's my feelings, I mean, if you guys wanna. I guess the last meeting we had was very informative and.
Yeah. So I got the impression that they're gonna send us a proposal for the perimeter.
Yeah.
Monitoring system, doors and whatnot. Access control type stuff. And then we would talk to them again about upgrading the camera system for meeting rooms. Monitoring town meeting.
Yeah, so they were gonna possibly send a loaner camera system for the meeting. See what the sound would be like and acoustics and set it up before we commit ourselves to anything.
That would be a second piece of it, so they could
Right.
do a separate proposal for that.
Yeah. But that would have to be after we see what we can
Right.
have really done with it.
So this initial piece wouldn't focus on that at all?
Right, and just the perimeter cameras and the locks and. Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. 22 Bliss Road. Do you wanna say something?
Well, I was just gonna ask you guys' opinion on, how much security cameras do we actually need? I know for the perimeter and the safety of the building. I guess we'll have to wait for the proposal, but, I don't know if it's not state law that you have to have your meetings recorded, I don't know.
No, it's not.
We could still do it with dinosaur, it all depends on the cost and.
Yeah, I mean,
guess
but if we haven't got the camera system, if she's had a hard time with the audio, and, what's the point?
Why
She can't,
bother?
why bother if she can't?
Yeah.
Well, right now, we're talking about two separate things
Yeah,
that they haven't touched on just yet.
right,
The other was making sure that our cameras are compliant, that we have,
Yeah, that's right.
that aren't, and, adding a few to the perimeters, and then, just basically from a security, fire protection, all of that perspective is what this proposal would be. And then secondary, would be the recording of the meetings, that type of thing. So what initially, prompted the conversation with them is that we have an existing contract with them for the garage, which, needed, some assistance with that, in terms of, bringing that up to snuff and back to good working order and all of that. And then also the issues with the recording of the meetings. So, but when they came in and did their assessment, we discovered that that's all secondary to what we have that's existing, that's, not real.
The two-step system, then
Yeah.
we're looking at.
Right.
I missed the meeting,
Yeah.
couldn't make it
Yeah.
that one, so.
and another thing too is, the locks and the doors, having key fobs instead of keys, so, say for the fire chief, he doesn't need to come in the planning board office, or, so we can eliminate him from that, or you can pick and choose who enters what door, and if one is lost, it can be deactivated. Yeah, I think that, I've always liked that system, that's what we had at work, and,
Where we have, us and Robin, people have different access to different.
right, yeah.
So it'd be a different number we'd have to memorize for everything
No,
that we
we
do.
just, a swipe card, you just hold it to the thing and it'll let you in.
No, so that's what we mean by key fob, not one of the 4 digits.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, it's a swipe card that you hold it to the lock, and then we got access to it, it'll unlock the door for you.
Okay.
For us, we'd have unlimited access to all of it, and some people would have limited access to these rooms, the town office,
Okay.
then we wouldn't have to go through that, changing the locks again if someone decides not to turn in their key,
No, you just
We
delete
had-
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
22 Bliss Road. I'm sorry, I missed it the other day. I got a call that morning to say, hey, you wanna pick up some more stuff down there? So,
Guys, is he filling it first store for you, is that what he's doing, or did?
no, I brought in some chairs, there's some, new chairs for us, and this, and a couple of tables. We'll put those down there, but cleaned up the conference room down there, and that Friday's the last day anybody was gonna be there, so I had to go down and get up in that order. So, you got some tables left down there. All right, be down.
So have we given the heirs enough time to respond, so we can move it forward to the next steps?
The 90 days notices.
Yep, I have that
So it
on my
hasn't been 90
calendar.
days yet?
No.
No.
No, and actually we'll allow a little bit longer because, by the time we're able to meet up with Deb to get the certified mail, I prefer to go off the stamp from,
Oh, yeah.
that it was certified, just to be.
Okay.
So has the 90 days expired or not?
No,
When does it?
I've got it on my calendar.
Yeah. So we've got that property, and we've got the one up on, kind of a Black Road. Which I think's got an old shed on it. Might need to go take a look at that and see what's there. That's the other one. But the next step with that is we need to see if we can get a real estate agent to list them.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the number on the center of the Black Road? I don't know, not right up here.
Well, I'm not off the top of my head, but it's
I'd love to take a look at it.
Royce.
May 31st.
Right?
May 31st.
Oh, we got a lot. So what's the name of the property up on Center Black Road? That's Royce Couple, or, yeah,
It's the heirs.
the heirs of Royce Couple, who apparently said, take it.
I know.
So that would be the next step, is see if we can find somebody that will list them. And if they do list them, they have to figure out at what price to list them, and then do it for a year.
Oh, yeah.
See if they can find somebody to list it for a year.
Now, after that year is up, is it pretty clear hours, or we can do whatever?
No, it's not ours.
What
It's
happens
then-
after the year?
So if after the end of the year, nobody has purchased it, or made an offer, I guess, they really don't tell you how do you evaluate an offer when it's listed with a real estate agent. We need to read into that a little bit more, but at the end of the year, if it hasn't sold, then you can revert back to the town's process, which is having an auction and
Oh, okay.
sealed bids on the date X.
Now, with an auction, as with the sale of the property through a realtor, does it still have to be auctioned, like you'd have to have a minimum of fair market value, I would assume?
I was thinking, we also probably evaluate it like they normally would, and compare to other places that have been,
Okay.
sold.
So just to go through it here again. Required sale procedures. Pre-sale notice of the 90 days. Then there's the manner of sale. The municipal officers or the designee must list the property for sale with a real estate broker or agent licensed in Maine at the highest reasonable price at which the property is anticipated to sell. The broker agent may not hold an elected or appointed office in the municipality, nor be employed by the municipality. The municipality must allow at least 12 months after listing for the property to sell. And I say that's where there's a little bit of leeway, is generally you don't sell property what you listed at, you get an offer and you negotiate, right?
Right, yeah.
But I assume that means that we're not really licensed to reduce it too much from what's the listing price. Anyway, inability to list or sell. If after 3 attempts the municipal officers are unable to contract with a real estate broker or agent, or if the broker or agent is unable to sell the property within 12 months after listing, the municipal officer may sell the property in any manner authorized by the municipality's legislative body, provided that the owner will still receive any excess sale proceeds. And in any event, we don't get any money other than reimburse our expenses.
Yeah.
There's gonna be so many layers to that if we ever had to get involved, because, you know, not maybe this one, but, you know, what happens on different liens on the place, you know, do we have to satisfy them with the sale?
Like a bank lien.
Before we get.
Yeah, I would think so.
Any kind of lien, a medical lien,
tax lien,
Well, there's mechanics liens, I can't,
Yeah.
that you won't even know about.
Right.
I think we sold the property up on, Rocky Dunn Road. And through a real estate agent, and it's when the sale was being settled out by the attorneys, there was a mechanics lien that showed up on the property. Somebody had done some work on there at some point and filed a mechanics lien. So.
Maybe that just stays with the property forever until somebody decides to pay it off. I don't know.
Well, once it goes to foreclosure, I think it would go to that lien process and then say, okay, well, who decide, you know, if it only sells for certain amount, I would think we would get our taxes before.
Well, maybe
I don't know.
Well, like I said,
taxes, then they get their card on it, and, yeah.
you might not know of a mechanics lien.
No, you wouldn't, because what happens, they just file them, and if they don't pursue, it's like me, I couldn't afford to sue anybody, wouldn't be worth my effort.
Yeah.
If they did a title search, wouldn't they?
I haven't seen, in all the title searches I've done online on the registry of deeds, a mechanics lien. Or, sometimes a, bail bondsman will put a lien on property.
Yeah.
There was somebody in town who had a property that was finally settled out, and it turned out that there was a couple of, bail bond liens against the property.
People.
You know, you don't find those in the registry of deeds. It might be out there somewhere, but.
Right.
I don't know where I would look.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't think that there's any of those on these two properties that we're looking at. They're not good properties because both of them, one is in probate, the one on Douglas, or on Cinder Black Road is in probate, or has gone through probate maybe, right? The Roy Scuffle one, it was with a lawyer, and the lawyer advised them to just let it go.
Just let it go.
So, whoever gets it, or if there's somebody who buys it, then it would be, just as a, a quitclaim deed from the town.
Yeah.
But it's all what they're ever gonna get. But beyond that, they would, if they're worried about a better title, then they have to go take it up with Roy Scuffle's, attorney. And, the place on 22 Bliss Road it never went to probate, and it's been that way for many, many years, to the point where nobody really can claim ownership to it anymore. So, it's kind of a cloudy title in any event. So if somebody bought it, they would have to be taking a risk. So what's it worth? I don't know.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah. But there's more of those in town than you might think. Not that they're foreclosed, but that people are living in the property that don't have a legal clear title to it, but they pay the taxes every year. It could be descended from the original owner, and they pay the taxes. That's fine. We get what we need, but if we ever foreclose on them, then, whoever bought the property would be, have a clouded title.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we can ask MMA if there's any clarification about what happens if the real estate agent gets an offer that's below the listed price.
I mean, do they just have like fair and reasonable offers? I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of gray area there.
I would think they would say, well, you know, the best reasonable offer, I mean, if you can't get any more than what you can get, then I would think they'd have to accept that, and
I think most agents would be kind of versed in situations like that.
I would think so. I would think so, yeah.
They must have some kind of formula they use, or something to go beyond a normal evaluation.
Yeah.
Especially when they can't get inside, you know, they go by
Right.
whatever pictures both took, but.
Yeah, right.
So usually the real estate agent will go to the person who lists it and say, we got an offer, you wanna take it?
Yeah.
Right? So that's us.
Yeah, right.
We'll see what happens.
I'll draft up a question to MMA, see if they wanna give us some guidance.
Okay.
But that's what we're gonna have to do to get these back on the tax roll.
Because if you turn down a fairly decent offer, a better one might not come along, or you might have a better one.
It might,
It's hard
you
to
never
know, so they must have some sort of like a percentage or, you know, a range that the municipality can work within, I would think. Because they're clearly dictating what the municipality has to do, so if they have these mandates or requirements of the municipality, then they need to be a bit more clear on what their expectations are,
Yeah.
or what's acceptable.
Talk about state stuff.
Okay.
I don't expect this, the Bush School to get too much anyway, so I think probably have to bulldoze it
You might
You'll have to
be
bulldoze
surprised.
it. Yeah, you're right, I mean,
It's got a good roof on it.
yeah.
It's really, I mean, the foundation won't crack up that bad, it won't wet.
So
I mean, it would be
just cause
a total god, but they've almost done that for you anyway, so it's just more or less
Yeah.
cleaning it up and putting bin all over everything.
You need new windows, just about all the windows need to be replaced.
It is eligible.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I thought that the house on the right, where you get to Dwight's house, I thought that was ready for the bulldozer, but they fixed it up. It looks really good, it looks really nice. If they flipped it, and it looks really nice. All right, CEO building fees.
Yeah, he just wanted to discuss it, cause he had some, just wanted clarification on, and I looked at it too,
I printed off his email for all of you.
yeah, actually typed off different ones from different towns, and we're not off base besides for people like, Standish, which charges you like a base fee plus $9 for every $1,000 of what they think it's gonna be worth. Princeton gets 25 cents like we do. So the thing I noticed on ours is we don't, the foundation, there's nothing in there about the foundation, so I don't know if Kent's confusion was if they get a full foundation, he's getting from two different living spaces. Because he said, well, it's only a crawl space, so, and that was part of his question, he said.
You count living space versus total square footage undercover.
Yeah.
So if you count, what he wanted to know is, how do you count a crawl space versus a full basement?
Right. But is a full basement assumed under our fees to be double the living space of a ranch? So, yeah, so I don't know either, so I think it needs to be clarified and just broken down so people aren't confused, like.
I would
I
think
found you know, because obviously like a crawl space isn't
usable.
So a crawl
Right.
space with a slab is so much per foot.
Yeah,
Foundation is so much per foot, and then the actual living space is so much per foot.
yeah,
I think that'd be less confusing and
yeah,
not necessarily lower our fees by any means.
About lowering the fees or raising the fees,
Yeah.
we've looked at these things for several reasons. I think the last time we looked at it had to do with the cost for solar farms.
Yeah, that's why we revisited it last time.
Yeah.
mhm,
And I sent you that link from the state statute that says you're not supposed to be trying to make money on these things, you're supposed to reimburse yourself for the expenses.
Those are expensive, yeah.
And it's interesting because I had to, when I went to visit, Cumberland County a couple weeks ago, the comment that was made was, you guys should really look at upping your permit fees. I said, well, I don't know, you know, you're supposed to make money on it. He says, oh, yeah, they do. He says, you go to Portland and they hit you right and left. So I don't know.
Really?
Higher than 25 cents like we are for a slab, at 10 cents. And actually include the foundation and the slab at 15 cents, so that seems a little bit low, but, and then you got Bridgeton that about mirrors it. It's a minimum fee of $25. New construction, 28 cents a foot. Attached garage, 28 cents. And it gets into the docks and the swimming pools, and they don't necessarily break down the foundations either, but. So I can see why people would be confused on a different fee for a crawl space versus a foundation.
Yeah.
You gotta consider a living space.
Right, I mean.
Then I guess just double that, but let people know
Yeah.
that they're getting charged for it.
I would think the, full basement is usable space, you can use it, crawl space.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be,
So when you get assessed by the assessor, they assess, I don't think they assess a crawl space
okay,
as square footage,
yeah,
but a porch is assessed at half of the overhang, right?
mhm,
And I don't know about the basement is whether it's finished or unfinished, will determine what the rate is.
yeah. Or an attic or something.
Yeah. Well, it might be some way to differentiate between the various, basement,
Mhm,
construction fees, finished versus unfinished. So if you have any suggestion, we can talk about, I guess at the next meeting and kind of
yeah,
come to a consensus.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it all looks fairly good except for just maybe separating the foundation
Yeah.
and the building, putting the fee and then the slab fee and then,
mhm,
minimal cost, we can't charge any more than you charge for the, living space itself, so. But I feel that's probably what he's doing, is hit them for the, just like the assessors would do, they hit them for the double space, cause it literally could be, even though it's not
mhm,
part of the house. Well, it's part of the house, but they don't live in it.
right, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what his ideas are.
Yeah. Let's see, reminders. Planning board meeting Thursday, and we've got somebody coming from, the wetlands, resource protection.
Resource protection people,
Yeah,
wildlife and wetlands,
yeah,
When's that?
Thursday night.
I thought this was an off week for the planning board, but I guess not.
second Thursday. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the state?
Yes,
Yeah, good.
he's a municipal biologist for the state. He's gonna look at you in your native habitat, Bob.
See if I've got any of those endangered dragonflies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spotted frogs,
I remember, I think it was the Historical Society had somebody come in and talk to them about, habitat and protected stuff, and he had the guy in and he was talking about endangered dragonflies. And Deb said, "Hey, I've seen one of those." Shut up! No, you didn't.
They're on our property, I can't do anything.
That was funny.
Dragonflies have been on the earth before the dinosaurs.
Uh-huh, yeah, yeah. But they're a lot bigger though.
And they're a wonderful insect.
Yeah.
And they eat so many of those
Oh, yeah.
insects.
Especially mosquitoes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And 95% of the time, they're successful when they hunt.
Really? Really?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Put a couple of strapped to your hat.
Yeah. A lot of them are buzzing around my head.
Yeah, they just wrap around. Joe, you got it?
Yeah, speaking as a larger landowner on, the GIS mapping project, I gave all my surveys, or loaned all my surveys to Cumberland County Regional Assessing, and the maps came out worse than one before I gave them the surveys. I just want you to know I'm not happy with Cumberland County Regional Assessing. And
Probably goes
Enough
along
said.
with what Dale was saying.
Yeah, well, get that to begin with.
Yeah.
Trying to be more political about it, yeah.
They were more political about it,
Yeah.
is what I thought,
Yeah.
than accurate. I was giving them accurate, registered surveys.
It's almost,
Yeah, and I'm sure they told you what they told me when I talked to them a couple of weeks ago, which is, it depends on what people think the map shows. And,
So they took and they chopped off a piece of my property
yeah,
and gave it to the neighbor,
yeah.
and I objected, and they told me, sorry.
So what they said was, they are supposed to represent topologically your property, but may not necessarily represent where your map is on the ground. And they said they can go through and they can make adjustments as long as both people on either side of the line agree.
Both people on either side of the line agreed that Cumberland County was wrong.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, I'm sorry, it's just a matter of, we had to squeeze 10 acres, we had to give him 10, and we had to take some away from you to get it out. And like, no, you're not taking them away from me,
But from what I was told, that there's a way, there's a way to jigger things around, and they understand that just looking at it, you know that they're not in the right spot, but,
Or you take a piece of land that comes down like this, and you go chunk, and you give that to that person. No, that's inaccuracy. That's willful inaccuracy. I'm not taking it any other way.
they're not giving it to anybody, they're just putting a line on a.
Well, they're just making a map inaccurate.
Yeah.
I mean, they took land on the other side of the road from my neighbor and gave it to the neighbor on the map. And I object because we all say when we look at these maps, oh, these are not for legal purposes, they don't define where the property is, but everybody in their head uses it to define where the property is.
Right.
And so I just registering my objection to these people, that's all. They can't get their act together, as far as I'm concerned.
That's what this exercise is about, though, is to try and improve it.
That'd be a good question to ask other applicants, how they assessed it, or how they determined the boundaries, you know.
You might go through you might have to, whether you want it or not, go through the messy process of opening the maps up to the public before you say that they are the maps of the town. You know, so that landowners could come in and
Look
talk
at it
about
and
it and say,
With it, right?
you know, because we all know what our land looks like.
Yeah.
You know, maps are something that really, as you can see, really excite people.
I think they can get it a lot closer. I don't think they'll ever pinpoint it in our lifetime, just because of the way the deeds are written out. Not a lot of people survey.
Or accuracy of survey.
Or accuracy of surveys, so.
The difference between a
I feel they
horizontal
can get
lot
it a
and a
lot
vertical
closer.
lot.
What's that?
The difference between a horizontal lot and a vertical lot.
Yeah.
And how do you take the vertical lot and put it horizontally on a map?
Yes.
I understand,
Yeah.
I understand, but I'm just saying, you're
My
gonna piss
property's like
people off.
that. My
It needs to
property's
be
like
better.
Yeah, it needs to be better, and you're gonna piss people off. And I wanted to make a comment about land that the town has seized to taxes. There's something wrong with it. Most of the time when I've watched the town have seized land and sold it out, the problems don't stop. They've kept on going. And I'm just saying, just be really careful with whatever you do with land you seize and you sell, because, again, it's something that it's caused real problems.
You mean, sort of, as far as the next buyer is concerned, or?
Sand Pond Road, that piece of property caused problems for the town and the next buyer, and, you know, the town, the down by the pickle farm.
Yeah.
You know, that was another one that was like, just went on forever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, after we sell it, it's kind of out of,
I don't know what the problem's gonna be, but there's a reason these people let it go to taxes, you know,
They
that's what I'm
didn't just sell
saying.
it themselves.
I just thought.
The problem is, when somebody in the town puts a characterization on a lot, or it is a lot that is, was grandfathered, and then people don't wanna see anything happen there, you know, and so forth.
Right,
Yeah, there's problems,
Yeah.
that's why they let it go to taxes.
yeah.
Well, sometimes it's not the reason they let it go to taxes, sometimes it's the person has lost track of the land or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what causes the problems, is when things develop after it's sold. And, you know, in the previous times, we could just buy it and hang on to it, but we can't anymore, unless we buy it ourselves.
And then lastly, under fees, and you were saying that towns shouldn't make money on fees.
Yeah.
You're not making money, it's called overhead, you're paying your overhead. The people who should pay the CEO's salary when he's sitting shuffling papers around, he's not having to do with any particular fee that he can charge it back to, but it's overhead that I shouldn't have to pay. The people who are developing this town should be paying it through their fees.
So that would fall under the expense of the town.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it should be, you've got your fee that pays for him taking care of that building permit.
Yeah.
But then it should be like 30–40% for overhead. That wouldn't surprise me. 40% for overhead wouldn't surprise me at all.
True, yeah.
I've actually thought of this too, and, you know, in a perfect world, probably most towns' permits and the amount of people that they get to get permits probably does pay that code enforcement salary. I mean, the only way that we should pay the code enforcement salary on permits, is just to allow everything to just bombard us, you know, so I think that's a probably in a small town. We have to have a code enforcement.
Well, no, you could adjust your permit fees, a couple of
It has to be a
counties.
lot though, because I mean, I don't imagine.
I don't know, we could go through and see what we paid for code enforcement, or what we collected in, we know what we paid in code enforcement, we could go through and see what we've collected.
I know from the last two reports, it can't be much because of the amount of permits that are out, but.
Well, we can go up and look, see what the numbers are, because it goes into our, calculations of, taxes every year. So, I can get that number for you, you know.
I'm just curious to see, you know, look
I
into
think the intent is like with everything that we work with within the municipality, and that's to reimburse us for our time, our administration, you know, administrative fees and everything. I think the point is we're not meant to make money off of it in terms of, you know, gains. But we're supposed to be able to recoup all of our energy and costs and overhead that we've put into it to a certain extent, but you do raise a point, and that's where, I guess, if we look at the fees and.
see where we are in relation to it.
Right. But, you know, maybe the bigger cities do really suck it to people, I don't know, but are their taxes, you know, higher and overall everything, you know what I mean? So it might be all relative,
It's a tax
but.
structure. I mean, I can be honest with you and tell you that somebody that owns the same kind of house I do in Standish pays about $1,500 less in taxes, which you might seem odd, but they have so many other tax bases coming in. Even that same person, his son wants to build a house, and we started doing the math for the sheet of Standish. And by the time it's all said and done, they're looking at probably about $5,000
In permit
fees to get a house in, based on a $300,000 house.
Wow.
And then who's honest about what it's gonna cost, you know, I played that game, and I can talk to them, how much is it gonna cost? I gave them a quote, but I'll take off $80,000 for the town and say, this is what it's gonna cost them, so it saves them on their permit fees. So that valuation method is so flawed, and
Is it on public water or something?
No.
No,
just basic flat fees, $9 for every 1,000, and then, the plumbing fees, and then, you know, the septic fees, and, you know.
Wow.
Okay. And they pay less taxes?
Like I said, it's a different structure, and I'm sure they get, but yeah, I mean, I think.
Think of the income Sebago Lake brings into Standish.
What's that?
Think of the income, the tax income that comes into Sebago and to Standish from Sebago Lake.
Oh, yeah.
If I drive over to 61 a year, believe me, anything you wanted over there, all you had to do was ask and you got it. We had a lot of
But
money.
you're talking about property taxes.
Property taxes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but property taxes are based on a valuation of the house.
Because you think it'd be more though, because where it is in Standish, because the valuation would be higher, be closer to Portland, and it's more in Standish than it is in,
But, I mean, we raise taxes based on what we need. I know, you know, there's an assessing situation to it, but, I mean, other than that, we have to raise what we don't get from that, so maybe their system offsets and they're able to keep it. I'm not saying everybody's in Standish is low, or business taxes or whatever. I just know that I've seen their tax bill, and I was surprised that it was lower than mine.
Well, Standish can't have a business tax, because they're not allowed to. They can have a business equipment tax, if they've got business equipment, and they can have tax on the real estate, but towns are not allowed to, set, business tax, per se. I mean, we can't go, put a tax on the whistle stop, or just because we want to, I think you might be able to pay something.
There must be some kind of charge with all these benefits, and, I mean, it can't just be, I think it's just square footage and property tax, I guess.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Cool. Something to, look into, I guess.
I mean, if there's any taxes that they pay based on their inventory, it's, I guess it's what they call use tax or something like that, that the state would levy, but not the town. Yeah, it's an interesting question. And a lot of variables that goes into the tax, and part of it's the schools, it's a big one. And then the other part of it is the assessed value of all the properties that go into whatever it is the town's trying to pay for.
As of 2024, 2025, standard tax rate was $12.60 per thousand. So they just keep the mill rate low, which helps, not necessarily the valuations less, but the mill rate's less, so they pay less.
Well, they do the same thing we do, which is come up with a budget, and then that is what determines the mill rate. So they must have more people paying the taxes.
They have more $1 million houses.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, yeah. I mean, all the Sebago is.
Yeah. Sebago
Per capita.
Sebago's
Yes.
still.
Oh. I don't even want to talk about Sebago taxes. I pay enough.
Watch it. Anything else, Joe?
No, thank you.
Kathy, watch it.
Doing good, but there's some, cupcakes over there.
Okay, yeah.
Need to go.
I see them there, I didn't know
Eat your
who they were, I
cupcakes,
didn't
we're
want
not
to
gonna eat
be able to touch them.
Thanks.
Mary?
No, I know, thank you for asking.
Chad? No. Bruce?
All good.
Muriel?
I do have a question. Here, the $172,000 that was for to fix the boiler, what did that consist of?
I was replacing the whole thing, isn't it?
Replacing the whole boiler,
Yeah.
and there was some work on controls. The two circulating pumps, I think, part of the overhead gear that controls water pressure and stuff.
Some of it was a little bit overblown, I think, just because they included a new chimney liner, which we already did last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can nickel and dime off of it, but,
I think there was some work in the tanks too.
yeah, they want to replace the tanks, which may not need to be done, but.
That's what I'm thinking, how much of that actually has to be done, I mean, or can we just repaired?
Shut dry and cleaned and.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I say, as long as they ain't leaking. Anything else?
No, I was just wondering.
Okay. Chris?
I don't really have a whole lot. Bob had sent me an email about the bridge report, for Crawford Road, because I don't know why it didn't have a rating this time. It's kind of weird.
It's got a rating on them, but they don't have the code to how to read it.
Yeah, so the rating is like a 72 point something, I think, or 74. I just looked it up earlier today, which is still, I mean, it's really not all that bad compared to, like, the one on 113 right there goes up over the same thing. It's got a rating of 49, so I think we're still okay.
When I looked at the pictures, it looked to me like there was bare metal exposed.
There is on the fascia on the deck.
Yeah.
It's the rebar coming through. I don't really know what we could do with it. If we wanted to hire somebody to come in and box it and re-pour it, or I don't know how to do it. I don't know what the best way to fix that is.
Put a Band-Aid on it?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, the bridge was built in 1939 after the cloud burst, and it's done very well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's,
Almost 100 years old.
well, right, well, yeah, it's hitting the 100-year bridge life expectancy, and it's on, realistically, it's a non-essential bridge at the end of the day. Because really, you can access the road from two different ends.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, if we ever decided to replace it and fix it, it's gonna, I mean, fixing it, repairs or whatever, that's one thing, but to replace it, it's gonna be a very, very large penny. It'll probably be like the Fitz Road Bridge in Sebago that just gets shut down and
I was gonna say.
you call it a
that.
day.
Yeah.
I was down there, we went down and looked at it the other day, and I was like, wow, this thing is deep and it is ginormous. I never went down to the bottom of it to look underneath, and I was like,
Big hole down through.
that's a big hole,
Yeah.
real big hole. Like, you could fit a bayliner down through here if you had enough water. But I don't know if we wanna look at getting, I can reach out to people and see what they think, if we can box around it and or have somebody do fascia on it or whatever to repair it and make it look pretty again, I don't know.
I'm sure making it pretty is good, but
Yeah.
the question is,
Put a Band-Aid on it.
is there a way to, slow down the deterioration?
Yeah.
You know, once you start getting corrosion, it will slowly expand out,
Yeah.
concrete falls apart.
I can, I've got a pretty good contact down to Scarborough for the bridge department for the next 26 days or something like that before he retires. I can give him a call.
Oh, cool, yeah, please do.
Yeah. I mean, they'll fill his spot, but
Well, Mike just asked the question.
yeah, I can talk to him. He's a bridge supervisor for the state down in Scarborough, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lives on Robinson Hill Road in Sebago.
Oh, there you go. Oh, oh, really? Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Wow, is he that old?
Yeah, he's got 20, what did he say, he had 29 years in at the state.
Really?
Yeah. He thought about going to 30, but he said, forget that.
Yeah, he's a little older than me, so I,
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
I'll give him a call and see what he thinks.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I know it's winter time and, frost and everything, but, a couple people have complained to me about gigantic potholes, I'm sure you know about them, one on, School Street,
Yeah.
Front Street's a mess, but,
Yeah, we've been patching.
Yeah, we've been
so is it
patching.
patching time right now?
Oh, yeah, we've put out 15 tons of patch already this year.
Okay.
I've been on-
So we've been
been
in
on-
Fremont, we've done some on Fremont, I got a lot more to do in Fremont, we're
Yeah.
getting there, picking away at it.
Graham
For
Road.
some reason, that 3 o'clock bus or 2 o'clock bus that comes out, that road becomes a super highway, it's like, I don't know why, school lets out and it becomes a highway. But, I've done Graham Road and Fremont, some over on, Douglas Hill, did some on River Road, and I got some more on River Road still to do. And, we're getting there, we're trying to get around and getting the worst ones and then going back to get the other stuff.
Yeah.
I guess the kids have been digging in that one down the end of, School Street and making a pond out of it, so you might wanna get that one.
We'll get that one tomorrow, as long as the weather dries it up a little. I think we'll have pretty good, like the guy fishing in the pothole.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the brook, you can fish in potholes in Maine. Yeah, we'll get down there and we'll get, so it melts out and dries out a little bit, we'll be able to blow up the water and get it patched. We got that one, and, River Road's got a good sized one on it too, a couple of good ones, but.
We haven't heard anybody from our designers for River Road yet, have we? Can you send an email tickler?
Sebago Technic.
Yeah. I saw him at the planning board the other day, and I thought he said he was gonna send us something right away. Probably got busy on, subdivision somewhere.
Hopefully not around here.
It was around here.
Route 11.
Anything else? Yeah?
No.
Okay.
But you could just sign off on the MMA.
I'll look
That
it
would
over a
be
little
great.
bit and, yeah. Dale, anything?
No, I'm good.
Spirit of America Award, I got one person in mind, Jeff Sanborn. He was on the fire department forever. He was a selectman. He was EMA director. I don't know what else. I could contact Chelsea's daughter and see what else he's been on that I don't know about.
He was on the rescue, if I remember right.
That's right, too, yeah.
What was that?
He was on the rescue when they first started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a nomination?
Yeah. I'll nominate Jeff for the America Award.
Second.
All in favor?
Get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the deadline's June for that,
Yeah.
so it's good to get that out of the way.
Get it out of the way. I started playing around the AI. I said, hey, this is pretty cool. Just type what you want, and then just let that do its thing, and it looks official, and.
Don't let it do your grass, though.
No?
No.
Okay,
That's the bar on the side door, bar button.
okay.
You have to be careful with AI,
Right.
because it can give you garbage and it can give you bad information.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, to write it out in an official format, sometimes I, do it right. Well, it looks pretty good.
But on the top of my web browsers now, they all have a little place where you can ask for AI assisted search.
Yeah.
It turns up garbage.
Oh, it really does. Yeah. I've actually
It
messed
just
with
makes
it.
stuff up, I think.
I've messed with it before. I'll get into a conversation with it and ask it, both off the wall stuff. And then it back talks itself, you know what I mean? It doesn't give you the, yeah.
I love it, and I just ask, where did you get that from?
So, yeah, it's buyer beware for sure.
Yeah. Look it over. All right.
I move we adjourn.
So,
They all in favor?